Good evening. Excuse me, I'll now call the meeting to order. Madam CAO, do we have quorum?
Yes, we do.
Okay, next up is declaration of conflicts of interest. Does anybody
Sorry, I just didn't have my mic on.
have any conflicts of interest to declare for the items on the agenda? Okay. Excuse me. Next, it would take a motion to adopt the agenda in its current form. Do I have a mover to adopt tonight's agenda?
I move.
Moved by Councillor Esty, seconded by Councillor Murray. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the agenda in its current form, show your consent by saying yes.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Next, we have the adoption of the minutes for, which ones are they? Sorry. It's
I
not on there.
apologize.
For the February 18th regular council meeting. It would now take a motion to adopt those minutes. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Savoy. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Esty. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the minutes from the February 18th meeting, show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Next is questions from the public. Hannah, do we have any submitted? Sorry, CAO, do we have any submitted?
No submitted questions.
Okay, and since there's no one in the gallery, I guess we're good to proceed. Okay, so next we have petitions, requests, or delegations, and we do have one on here, so I'll turn the floor over to the CAO to give us an update.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So one of our tenants in the building has requested permission to install exterior signage. We don't currently have like a sign policy or anything, and given the employment, I guess, or the appointment of the tenant, I thought it would be good to bring it to council for consideration. So this would be a standalone sign outside, not attached to the building. It would be on separate posts. It would be, the material is aluminum sheet, 27 inches by 54 inches. And I let them know that we have some drainage work that has to be done, so it could be in the way, it might have to be moved, so they understand that that may have to be moved around during that time. However, they think that the sign would greatly enhance the visibility and assist residents when locating her office. The proposed sign, I believe you guys have a picture of it, yep, would be professionally designed and installed. I provided the mock-up design for your review, and the MLA is the tenant. She's also open to any specific requirements that the council may have to ensure that the sign aligns with the building's appearance and basically council standards for what's outside of the building. So I'm just looking for feedback. You can see on the sign that it doesn't mention the party, mentions her name and the location. So I'm just looking for some feedback from council, just because we don't have that sign policy currently.
So Hannah, would it be in color?
It would be in color,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get this in the way.
For the most part, riding offices, they have a specific standard that they have to follow. And I just want to make sure that if we're going to have that sign, that we follow that standard, which usually means that the only thing that's in color is the emblem and that there's no picture. So it's just the name and the emblem and basically MLA deputy for Chandore Irish Town. So I'm not in favor of a picture. I'd rather that we just keep it with the provincial standard.
Okay. And Deputy Mayor, who holds those standards?
You would call the legislature.
Okay. Councillor Savoy?
Well, that was just going to be a comment, and Deputy Mayor pretty much made the comment, but also, did the MLA request to have it on the building or at the road entrance?
No, she requested that it's just in the front of this building, not at the road entrance.
So
So to the to the left or the right of the front door.
Okay.
So freestanding on the ground, right, not attached to the building?
Unattached from the building, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it kind of sounds like around the table, the feeling is that we should make sure that it meets standard before we proceed with anything. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I 100% think should meet standard because we don't have a policy. But, sorry, I got off track there. Until we have a policy, I think we should go with what is already publicly available.
I just mentioned one more thing.
Sure.
This is not our only tenant. We have another tenant. And if this signage goes up, probably the request is gonna come from the other tenant asking if they can put signage outside. So that's just the next thing I think I would be coming to council with the question.
So at our next committee of the whole meeting, then we should maybe have a conversation about a sign bylaw or a sign policy.
Yeah, just a policy I think would be,
Okay.
yeah, appropriate.
Oh. Deputy Mayor Jean-Bras?
So, c'était toi avant, ou were you first?
I did next in queue.
Okay. So the other tenant, you're speaking about the other MLA?
No,
No? Okay.
the TH boards.
Oh, okay. All right.
Counselor Savoie?
I just want to clarify, that's on the tenant's dime, right?
Yes.
Okay, we incur no cost whatsoever.
Counselor Murray?
Yeah, I guess my thought around it would be, I'd be okay with it if it was beside the building, like to the left of the front door, so it's not like blocking the building at all. And maybe we do like a ladder style for signs if we think we're gonna have more than one request, instead of having them kind of go sideways. Maybe look at a vertical option, so we could kind of have the different businesses and stuff listed that way. We could also include our own name on there if we wanted to, but like I said, just kind of do a vertical ladder style option for the signs.
I think that would be addressed with a policy.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Jean-Bras?
I'm certain this was mentioned. What is the size of the sign?
27 inches by 54.
Okay.
Okay, so I think maybe, one, we find out about the criteria, but two, I think we maybe just let the MLA know for now that we'll look at doing a sign policy and try and work on that next month. Everybody? Okay, perfect. All right, so next up is council member reports. Deputy Mayor Jean-Gras. Oh, sorry.
So I don't have much to report. I'm just going to use this occasion to bring up something that's, of course, close to me. And next week is March 26th, and that's Purple Day. It's Epilepsy Awareness Day. So March 26th is recognized as Purple Day. It's an international effort dedicated to increasing awareness about epilepsy and supporting those affected by it. The day and the symbolic color were selected by an 8-year-old Nova Scotian girl, and it has since grown. It was selected in 2008, and it has since grown to have events worldwide. 85 countries participating last year, and I just want to, for everybody's awareness, epilepsy is caused by electrical disturbances in the brain, which lead to seizures of various types. It is often misunderstood, and it's a stigmatized disorder. Seizures can be very alarming, not only for the person having them, but especially for those who are witnessing it. And since epilepsy tends to manifest in adolescence, it's very, very frightening for parents. So together, I just want to raise awareness about epilepsy and for those living with it, and I would encourage everyone to visit national or provincial association websites just to gain more information or to see, check any events happening near you. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Councillor Esty.
I have no report, thanks.
Okay. Next, Counselor Martin.
First and foremost, I would like to say I believe the ice rink is done for the year. We might be moving on to our ice plunge, cold water plunge. I'd like to thank all the volunteers that came out and all the residents that had an awesome time there, and each member of the community that came out and helped the kids, helped each other. It was phenomenal to see. As well, I was able to take part in yesterday's meeting for risk management. We had members of staff, we had representatives from the City of Moncton as well as St. Paul Fire Department and EMO, going over lots of what our major concerns are for the area. We had a good workshop on it, and there'll be more to come on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Murray?
Yeah, I be kind of quick here. We were able to attend a meeting with the St. Philippe Club d'Age d'Or a couple weeks ago. It was a good meeting, I think, with a lot of the members of that community. And like I said, I always want to put it out there. If you do have some kind of event or you do have some kind of meeting that you do want council at, just send a request into the CAO. We'd be more than happy to try to get there if we're able to. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Savoie?
I had the privilege to be invited to a meeting with MLA at Saint Philippe Club d'Age d'Or a few weeks back. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. Deputy Mayor Gingras assisted in my stead. And subsequently, they invited us to another meeting, which Councillor Murray referred to. And it was very informative, I find, as part of council. There's still a lot of misconception out there in the different communities within our municipality that about what the services that we offer as a municipality. And I think it's a good indication that the council tours that we have coming up, or tour, is a great opportunity to meet residents face to face and dispel those misconceptions about road work, about taxation, and some less trivial as streetlights. A lot of contentions about streetlights. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So I had a wonderful report prepared, and it's laying on my desk at home. So I would just like to remind anybody that's watching that we have town halls coming up in March, April, and May. Please check the website or reach out to any one of us if you'd like the dates, and be sure to attend when we're in your area. Or if we're not in your area, you can attend one of the others. Okay, so next we have bylaws, motions, and resolutions, and the first one is the bank signatories.
Okay, so I've circulated a motion for council's consideration. This would be to update the bank signatories for Maple Hills and our bank accounts. So I have a motion there for that. I have another motion after that for operational credit. So maybe we'll do one at a time. We'll start with bank signatories if there's anyone from council that is so inclined.
So do I have someone who would move the motion? Okay, Councillor Martin will move on this one.
Be it resolved that the following persons named authorized signatories of Maple Hills Rural Community Bank accounts: Mayor Erica Warren, Deputy Mayor David Gingras, CAO/clerk/clerk treasurer Hannah Downey, and Assistant Treasurer Vanessa Arbeau.
Thank you. Okay, seconded by Councillor Murray. Are we ready for the question?
Question.
We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of changing our bank signatories as noted, show your consent by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, so next up we have the operational credit.
Okay, so this one, we currently have, it's just loading, sorry. We currently have operational credit now through our banking. And whereas I'm looking to switch bank account or bank financial institutions, I require a motion to open up credit cards for the CIBC Bank. The second part of the motion includes that we are gonna the credit cards that we hold with Desjardins will be paid in full, and subsequently closed. That way we don't actually have, two $25,000 operational credit cards out there. So this one is specific. It lists an amount approved for myself, Vanessa, the assistant treasurer and the community development officer. I just realized that in that motion, it doesn't list her name, and it does have to list her name. Because these are business credit cards, they have to be tied to a person. It's not just a credit card for Maple Hills, it has to be also tied to a person. So I'm thinking that you guys may not see that updated motion, but the motion would have to have Community Development Officer Chanel Doucette.
Did it come in?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it would now take a mover on this motion. Councilor Murray, you'll move, okay? Oh, there you go.
Whereas the rural community requires credit cards for the operational purposes, be it resolved that council authorizes the issuance of credit cards with the following limits: $10,000 for the chief administrative officer, Hannah Downey; $13,000 for the assistant treasurer, Vanessa Arbo; and $2,000 for the community development officer, Chanel Doucette. Be it further resolved that the credit cards currently held with Desjardins shall be paid in full and subsequently closed.
Do I have a seconder on this motion? Seconded by Deputy Mayor Jean Gras. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of proceeding with the credit cards as outlined in the motion, show your consent by saying yes. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Can I ask a question regarding the credit cards? It's just a procedural question, but in the event of an employee departing a municipality like we had in the past, is that credit card automatically canceled?
Through a procedure of us canceling it, like administration canceling it, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the next item is, oh, sorry, I lost my spot. The branding strategy proposal.
Okay, so I shared two proposals with council. One was received back in the end of 2024. It was a very busy time, so we sort of pushed it ahead, or pushed it forward to this year. We had one consultant come and do a presentation. When I received his proposal following that presentation, it was substantially higher than the one that we had received in 2024. So essentially, the community development officer and myself had met with both of these companies. We were happy with both of them. But this agency that I have in a motion is substantially lower. And it seems that they're, just as qualified, and they've done work. I'm not sure if I shared the link to Harvey with you guys or not, the Harvey Rural Community. It didn't work, okay. So I've proposed a motion. I don't know if council's there yet, or if they would like to have more information about the company. I did, when we met with them the first time, I asked her first if they would be willing to come to council to make a presentation. They said that they don't normally do that they do the presentation through the CAO, and then the recommendation comes from the CAO. But it's up to you guys of how you want to proceed.
So are these the only, just Peach and Ginger are the only ones that have
Yes.
submitted proposals? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Councilor Esty?
So it's my understanding that we receive money for branding, so if we don't use it, we lose it. So I am in favor of ultimately doing a branding project, but my question is, looking at the proposal, they have basically 3 phases with like kind of a 4th client service thing. If we accept this, would we still be able to modify the scope of their work, or are we bound by this exact proposal?
If we're going to accept this proposal, I would believe we'd be bound by this proposal, by the work that's in it. But I can go back to them with something if you have a different,
Like, because I think we had this conversation with Peach, just how much involvement we were gonna have. Like, I think we had some questions about how many public events we actually wanted. Because the first phase is like $9,500. So I'm assuming it's gonna be a lot of work in that area. So I just kind of felt that, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but we sort of were questioning how much public
input.
meetings we wanted, especially where we just had our strat plan meeting. So I just don't know what this means in terms of like how they're gonna be reaching out to people, because Peach sort of gave us something. It doesn't really say specifically how they will be engaging the public, it just really has a number. And so my only question is really in the phase one, like what is that gonna encompass? But ultimately, I would be good with, using Ginger. I just would want a little clarity on what the public engagement is gonna look like specifically. Thanks.
Okay. Counselor Savoie?
2 questions. The first one is, how much higher was Peach's proposal?
They were 50 plus HST.
Okay. The second one is, does Ginger offer bilingual consultation when they meet the public?
That's a really great question.
To me, that's a must.
Chanel, do you happen to recall that conversation?
No. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to ask. Yeah,
Okay.
as for Counselor Esty, the phase one includes 3 community stakeholder engagement sessions, plus promotion and travel. And that 3 engagement, that was our request, that we wanted to make sure that they were gonna do something in the 3 wards. That's all that I can really say about that part. I think Peach probably was a little bit higher in that, for that phase, because they were going to do like the video and, meeting people out on the streets and that kind of thing. So it does come down to, you get what you pay for, maybe if you wanted a larger, if we wanted to go bigger, and I didn't get the sense from council that, that they wanted to do that. That's why I didn't put Peach's proposal.
Deputy Mayor Jean.
Yes, following on Councillor Savoie's comments, I see the examples they use here with Envision St. John, Town of St. George, Town of Quispam, and Harvey. And so I'm wondering, do they do bilingual branding at all? Because these examples are all Anglophone communities. So I just want to make sure that they can come back with us, not with some half-arsed sort of, we used AI to get our French, but, they actually have somebody who can do it.
Okay.
They seem to have done Explore NB as well, which is bilingual.
Counselor Martin?
It seems like there's a fair amount of questions, particularly regarding this company and their capabilities. Wondering, can we table this for the next committee of whole meeting?
We are going to, we will not be passing a motion this evening, I can tell. I just wanted to make sure any questions we had, that Hannah can capture them, so that when we have them at committee of the whole, maybe we'll have some answers, and that'll help us. Counselor Murray?
What were we approved for that marketing budget?
45.
45, okay. I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember exactly. Okay, that was my only question.
Okay.
We had 45 that we were approved for. We also budgeted some money for branding. But I think that would more be, the things that, most people do, the swag and the,
New signs.
yeah,
Like event signs.
yeah. So I'll get an answer on the bilingual portion. And I will also find out, do you want to know more about like what the engagement looks like?
Yeah, like what, is it a 3-hour meeting? Is it like a weekend thing? Is it like a one-time meeting? Just what is it? Like, what is the engagement? And when too, maybe?
Okay. Oh. Deputy Mayor Jonga?
Just for some clarification, CAO, was there a tender put out for this?
No,
Okay,
no
So-
tender, because we're under the procurement amount.
okay, so could you possibly still reach out to other,
Yeah, no, am I on? Yeah. We can. It was more like a time restraint thing, because when you do this, like, it takes up, it takes up a half of your day to meet with them and hear our side and hear what they can do, and, but we can. It's just now we're 3 people, so it's,
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Councilor Murray?
Did they have a timeline on their completion for this, if we did decide to go for them?
It has actually been so long. Do you recall the timeline?
I just don't see anything in the presentation.
Oh, sorry. I thought you turned your mic
Oh,
on to speak.
sorry, Chanel.
I did, but it was on a different thing, but, timeline for Ginger, you mean?
Yeah,
To
for like,
complete
complete it, yeah.
I don't have the package right now. It
It
doesn't say
wasn't
in the
package that I
No,
could see.
No.
No, and
Then I don't believe that they've given us a timeline.
I
they
said-
probably did when we first met with them. But
We
like I
met
said,
them
I
in
believe it was November, October, November.
last
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
the
it-
presentation says November 8th on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
it-
so we would have met them at late October.
Yeah.
And if I may add, we did reach out to another company as well, but they refused to even talk about it until we finished strategic planning. So that's another hurdle that we're kind of going through, where they won't even quote us because we don't have a strat plan in place. So that's also a reason why it's
forgot
been
about that,
taking so
yeah.
long, is because we've been waiting to try and get the strat plan done, and then we could get more quotes.
I would just maybe put out to them, like, we are a very hands-on, very, opinionated council. Maybe see if they would reach out again, see if they will come out to see us. Because I said, I think from even just this, we have been known to have more than one question once we ask a question. So once again, you can ask them, but
Okay.
Did you mean, ask Ginger if they would come? I believe they would be willing to. Yeah, it was just their normal practice wasn't to come to the municipality. It's usually just like a proposal and then, yeah.
Okay. Councilor Martin?
In light of what CDO Chanel just said, regarding having the strategic plan done, the 45,000, is there a completion date by that? Must be utilized by a certain date? Okay, so
No.
we are in no rush then, if we had to go through that and we were still looking for more consultants then?
We're not in a rush, but you guys have a year and a bit left of your mandate.
Okay,
So if you wanted to finish it within your mandate, that's the timeline.
appreciate it.
Okay, so I think we've given you some fodder on that one, and we obviously won't be proceeding with moving forward with Ginger at this time. Not to say that we won't, we just won't right now. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is unfinished business, and I see there's a bylaw enforcement item underneath that topic.
Perfect. So this is just because we talked about, at our last meeting, we talked about, getting a bylaw in place and then looking at, how we're gonna enforce that bylaw for unsightly or dangerous premises. Maritime Enforcement Services is gonna come to present their proposal on April 1st at the Committee of the Whole meeting. And I would suggest that as soon as we secure their services for 2026, if that's the way we're gonna go, that we proceed with bylaw adoption promptly. And I wanted to get some clarification because we weren't quite sure the difference between what, I guess the deliverables between an 8-hour and a 16-hour. The 8-hour option is when they work at 3 files at a time. The 16-hour is they would handle 6 files simultaneously. And it can take 4 to 6 months per file to complete a file. So, there's no rhyme or reason, it's just whether the property owner is gonna be compliant with the first letter, whether they have to keep following up. And if you have questions for them, they'll be able to answer questions on April 1st. So maybe just, be thinking about what questions you might have for the, based on their proposal and what they do. That's all I really wanted to, just because I didn't want to leave it stagnant on one meeting, I wanted to keep bringing it forward. Does council have any questions for me before April 1st?
It would appear.
Okay, perfect.
Deputy Mayor Jean.
So my only question is that the residents, they pay a tax right now. Part of their tax goes to this service, so are you going to be contacting the province to say, listen, you have to stop paying that tax or you have to stop charging that tax, and then we're going to be covering that
Yeah.
responsibility?
I confirmed it with, with Mathieu Voyer.
Okay,
So essentially, if we're taking over, it would be because I thought their year end is March 31st, ours is December 31st. So it would be January 1st, 2026. So nobody would be billed. The residents aren't gonna be billed. They're not gonna be double billed for a quarter.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Councillor Savoie?
It's a question that maybe you can ask them at a time, but whether it's 8 or 16 hours, is that going to be always, are we going to benefit from always the same agent? Or is it just one agent if it's 16 hours? Or do we have like 2 people working 1 day a week?
That I don't know, but they would be able to answer that when they come. Yeah.
Councillor Martin?
In accordance with what Deputy Mayor Jean had mentioned regarding the taxes, do we know the amount right now that essentially is being charged to residents for that service?
Yes. It's 0.002 cents per $100 of valuation.
Okay, and then our complete tax base as a whole, do we know what that comes out to essentially for a budget rate?
I'm sorry, I did not calculate that. You mean what it would cost?
Like what our savings?
He's basically
Yeah.
asking what the residents are paying today.
Yeah, what's the province paying for it? Because if we're gonna be essentially getting that money from the province, I'm wondering, are they paying for essentially what would equate to 8 hours or 16 hours or whatnot?
Oh, the 8 versus 6, okay.
Yeah, just to the price difference, what can we justify on that
Yeah.
for the differences?
So I can find that out based on like this year's tax base. But it's not gonna be a case of like, we're just gonna keep asking the minister to provide it. It's something that they've been trying to get us to take over. And we've been telling them we don't have a bylaw yet. But I don't know, like, it was actually coming down like to the final line for 2025 if they were even gonna provide the service. And I said, we do not have a bylaw. So it might not be something that we even have the option for.
I'm just wondering if we could figure out exactly what the dollar amount is. We can decide between the lower, middle, or higher group, depending on what we would be getting from the taxes for that, if that makes sense to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we filled your plate with stuff to find out. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is actually a closed session item, so we will require a motion to move to closed session, and then we will. Okay, moved by Councillor Savoie. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Martin. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of entering closed session, so you show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. So we're not streaming anymore. Okay.
I was like, do you want to say